Hey, welcome, enjoying your blended family. All the B-fams out there, holla.
What's up?
It's been a minute, but, it's been a good minute because it is starting a new minute in the new year. You like how I did all that? That was a lot of news.
Beautiful.
Yes, I mean...
I couldn't process that mentally at all.
You'll be with me in just a minute. Right?
All right.
Once you figure out what I just said. But, yeah, that was just kind of on the fly. And if that is a segue into anything of how this episode is going to go, it is going to kind of be that way. It's going to kind of be on the fly. Because we had, just to give you a brief of what this was, we were talking a few days ago. We were just sitting on the couch. We had our cups of coffee, maybe about 2 cups in for me. And we just had some really good talks about the holidays and blended families and things we saw, and it really brought a lot of realizations for us that we're like, oh dang, we've been 15 16 years into our blended family now. Ooh. I know, if you think about it,
that was crazy thing.
And it's you would think, man, by that long you'd have everything figured out, everything would be good, your family would run smooth. And it doesn't, but it has gotten so much better. So much better.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is our plan for the day was to talk about what we were going to talk about for the new year on the podcast. And we got off topic. We have Riley here. If you haven't recognized, there's a third voice. Our oldest, Riley Angelina, is here joining us today. So we were sitting around, just started talking holiday. And after we just went through this roller coaster of emotions and truths, and at the end of it, we were like, this is what we need to talk about on the podcast.
So it's going to be a great one. This is one, man. I'm telling you, we were like, just all these aha moments and stuff. So yeah, we
didn't actually say straight.
But it felt like that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a great episode. You're not going to want to miss this one, so y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right. So we left that with and Randall just cut me off.
I cut her off.
He just cut me off. But I will say, it wasn't necessarily we said, oh, that was an aha moment. But there were moments where we were like, okay, that was like breakthrough kind of stuff, like things that we didn't realize. So I am like completely excited for you guys to hear these things, because these are the things in a blended family that I think they're so, they're like things we're ashamed to admit, or things we don't even realize that are taking place. Not all of them. Some things like are totally in your face. And so as we unravel just some of the same pathway we went in our conversation, just speaking some of our truths from 3 different perspectives. So we have bio dad and stepdad.
Bio dad and stepdad.
And a bio mom and stepmom.
I didn't put on my cape. Sorry, guys.
Dad, you are so funny.
And then we have our bio daughter and stepdaughter perspective as the adult. That is like 23 turning 24 this year, huh?
Yes. How did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, it just happens to everyone every year.
Well, that's true, and I tried to stop it and couldn't. I did the whole book thing on the head when you were young.
There's no way.
You don't remember that because they were heavy books, but yeah.
Maybe that's why
Why the younger kids grew past you and you stayed the same.
Yeah. I'm the oldest and the shortest.
And the shortest. But we love having you here, and for everyone who may be new listening to us, just to kind of give you a briefing, we've been a blended family now for, like we said, 15, 16 years. You were 7, turning 8 whenever we started our blended family here.
7. That's my number.
7. There you go.
There you go.
Year of completion. So
I don't know what
and
significance.
8 is new beginning. So.
8 is new beginning.
Oh my gosh.
And so yeah,
if you're a number person out
me
there.
and Riley, we were just kind of living life. Me being just the dad, taking care of her, my only child, and we were just kind of doing life together. And then, bam, met the love of my life. And we married, and we have 2 other ones that are not here with us right now doing the podcast, but they are living life as well. And yeah, so here we are. So that's kind of our dynamics here. So now we get to hear Riley's perspective as an adult, kind of entering into the adulthood and learning all the fun things in life now, right? You're on the other side.
It's so fun.
When all the bills start hitting and rent has to be paid.
Yeah, and this time of the year, it's Christmas, and then now it's, you spent everything that you possibly could, and now also bam rent, also bam insurance, also bam everything else. So yeah, it's just I'm having a blast.
Yeah. It doesn't go away, does it?
No,
but
not at all.
I do want to say this year, this Christmas year, I am very proud of y'all because each one of our kids, they really went outside of themselves and just thought of the family, getting gifts for everyone else, and just it was just kind of really cool. So good job, kudos.
Thank you. That was me patting myself on the back.
Yeah, and just so you know a little bit, like our Christmas, because we do have young adult children, we're still not doing the like our kids aren't necessarily waking up in our house, so it's been a new thing for us.
That was a change,
this year. And then also we have our first grandbaby, and so we have, when you add a little one into the picture again, the magic of Christmas that I feel like's just been like missing over the last few years.
Yeah, this is the girl who was like telling us, "Oh, Santa got you gifts" when we were like still, 18 and things like that. It's like
a dress from Santa.
Yeah, from
my
Santa.
Grandma told me, as long as you believe, you still receive, and so I do still believe, and I still receive. And
I still believe in the Tooth Fairy. I haven't received $1 since.
That's a whole different episode.
Where is it at, Tooth Fairy?
There's a whole account. It's
that's
actually
because
called
Tooth
your
Fairy.
Insurance.
That's true. Dental insurance.
Paying the bills.
Yeah, I remember the Tooth Fairy was very good to you growing up, and then just Tooth Fairy kind of flew away. So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just shows up in different forms now. So
that is true. That is true.
Okay, back on topic.
Back to it. So I want us to just start like just unraveling Christmas Day, and we talked to you guys last year, planning and preparing, even leading up to this holiday, of the things that you can do to make sure you have a successful blended family Christmas, communicating with everyone. And I honestly feel like I did that and I tried, but sometimes even when you do all the right things, you are still dealing with a whole bunch of different humans. And then when you have a blended family, not only them, but now their extensions of their other families. And then when your kids are getting older, they have these significant others, which are then they have parents as well. And if they're blended, it's just so many different time frames and plans and expectations. Like I will say I was so excited when Randall's like, well, you need to ask the kids. That's my Randall voice, in case you know. Ask the kids.
Isn't it funny how we have that for our loved ones?
He's like, ask the kids and see what they want to do for Christmas. And when I text everybody and everybody wanted to come over on Christmas morning, I was like, yes, we still get to have all the same Christmas magic. But...
Yeah, well, we were kind of, we're at that transition period, as you are in any blended family, and it changes. When you're in a blended family, things just change over the years, and you just kind of address those. But we were at a point now to where our kids are older. They don't live in our house, so what do they want to do? Do they want us to do Christmas with their families or with their loved ones? Or, we don't want to sit here and still be like, y'all still have to come over here to our house. That's my voice. And
that's your voice.
Y'all still have to come over here to our house.
Is that you being me, though?
No, that's okay. That is me being you being me.
Woo, that's a lot of back and forth.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't want to be demanding, so it's opened it up to them. What do y'all want to do? And they still wanted to come over. It's like, no, we still want to come over. But the cool thing, what we were talking about after was things that these are issues that we're seeing, and maybe you as a blended family, you see this. Things just get bottled up, and you think maybe one holiday or one vacation or something is going to be able to unravel years of things being one way, right? You're expecting us all to come together and be this happy Brady Bunch family, and doesn't work. Sometimes whenever you all come together, it's like, oh my goodness, and you still have static and issues and things like that come up. And you're like, I just want this to be a special moment. So we're really unpacking a lot of things like, you know what, for this new year, these are things that we can't just hope happen, but we have to be intentional in some of these relationships to that way next Christmas looks even better. The next Christmas after that is going to look even better. And, you know, instead of just sweeping things under the rug or hoping things get better and just not doing anything about it, what are some things we can do to make them better? So, so we're going to talk about a few of these issues that just we saw and was like, oh, dang, you know, we're still dealing with that? It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. And like one of them just from the very beginning is the time frame of how, like, when you have multiple kids and you're sharing them, growing up, it's always been a thing where we were like, okay, are they going to make it in time? Are they going to come? And here we are, Christmas morning, and Randall has prepped me that we are going to just do Christmas here. Like, who shows up is who we celebrate. This is what's ingrained in my head. So me, still trying to fix the situation a little bit. I tell everybody 9, assuming they'll probably come at 10. So when they start showing up at 10 and my 2 biological kids are still the only ones missing now, and everybody wants to start opening presents, it's like the mom in me cannot start without them. And Randall's like, no, we're going to just open presents. It's not fair. And I'm like, but they're, and I'm like texting them going around the corner, like, where are you? Come on, are you coming? Like, I just assumed they were going to be here on time because I thought I had seen some texts that they were awake, and they actually had sent them at midnight. And I just didn't, my phone didn't notify me then. And so I didn't see it till the next day. So it was just a whole bunch of little like things, but the pressure from the outside on like, okay, well, would you have wanted to start if Riley wasn't here? Or, you know, and so.
Well, and kind of paint the scene a little bit more because, that's that one side of it. But we also had aunts here, or an aunt. We had a mom here. We, there were quite a few of us here that were here at 9, when we were, supposed to get started. And so we had already said, okay, well, they're not showing up. And then by 10, then one of our other kids and their boyfriend came over, and so we're now catching up, we're eating breakfast, we're just kind of buying time, and then 11, 12 rolls around, and then we hear from the other ones headed on my way, or on my way now, and then an hour later still not here. So there was this whole big scene of, okay, we've extended it from 9 to now 1. Let's go ahead and get this party started. And when they come, they come,
But, and that's the thing, is like, yes, we probably shouldn't have extended it. Maybe an hour late, but 3.5 hours late, kind of a thing. But the magic of all of us being there and opening up the presents is so much better than if it was just one of us opening our presents at once, right?
Yeah,
sure.
But if you think about it, the rotation would have gone a lot faster. She had like everybody just wanted to open their presents all at once. Me, okay? And then she's like, no, we have to wait till everybody around the circle opens their presents. Okay, 20 minutes later, you finally get to open your second present. Mm-hmm. So I think it would have went by fast. That's just me being impatient.
If you wanted it to go by faster, but if you want to extend the magic of Christmas.
The magic of Christmas. I was trying to sneak my second present while everybody was opening there.
She got caught too. It was like, what are you doing, Riley?
And I nominated her Santa because she was getting a little anxious in the process of waiting. And she just started passing them out. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody's just tearing into them. I'm like, slow down, because then we don't get to see who got what. And it just kind of like takes away from the appreciative of who bought the presents, in my opinion.
But that's the kind of the thing that we can see within any family, right? It's the different viewpoints. It's the different personalities. Like you want to cherish Christmas. You want to make Christmas a month-long thing, and you got all this build-up to it.
2 months this year because we started early.
You want all this build-up and just the joy of Christmas, watching Christmas movies every day. And, that's just you. That's your personality. You love it so much that, that you don't want it to end. And then others, they're
and like your personality, you don't like people looking at you when you unwrap
right.
presents.
Exactly. Because I'm like I don't want to say I'm a terrible gift receiver because I love receiving gifts. I just hate it when all eyes are on me. So it's kind of one of those.
There's a pressure to act like you really, really love the present. Like, even if you really do, like, then you have to act like over.
Am I showing enough appreciation?
Dude, they know that I really like this.
And then you start saying random awkward things to
this
overcompensate. I exactly needed this item right here. It's everything I ever wanted in life. Even if it was exactly what you needed.
But there's that pressure, and then some people like me, I want to kick on a game of football. I care less about watching a Christmas movie. Type.
And I'm like, we've been watching football since August.
I know, and it's fixing to go away in February. What am I going to do? It's kind of one of those. But it's just the differences in personalities and how we perceive things. But that in any family, but in a blended family, can really wreak havoc to where now we're fighting and fussing about it instead of saying, okay, let's compromise. Let's figure out a balance to this to where it's not all Christmas and twinkle toes and stuff.
We were seriously, while we were waiting, we were seriously watching Little Shop of Horror. We were watching Little Shop of Horror while we were waiting. I mean, it was like we almost finished the whole movie.
Well, it was one of those that I think many movies attempted to start. And then y'all kept changing, and then someone had a preference. Well, this is my favorite movie. And so I was like, well, okay, well, let's put that one on. And it ended up being Little Shop of Horror. So, yes, we watched that on Christmas.
Feed me, Seymour.
We not quite
Feed me,
finished
Seymour.
it because then everybody showed up. So.
Yeah, but it was a great moment. We did. And I think, taking, any transition, I think we learned, and we were talking about that after the fact, saying, you know what? If we do this again next year and everyone still wants to come over, let's be flexible. And, if our two kids are struggling to get here because maybe they stayed out late or the night before.
Because on their dad's side of the family, they do a Christmas Eve thing, which I didn't think they were doing this year because their dad is out of town. When then the day before I find out, their family's still getting together. And so they're out till 1 or 2 in the morning. So, of course, and then my son tells me, we're going to open up a few presents when we wake up, and then we're going to show up. And it turns out their waking up is different from ours. So it's just all these different pieces.
So, but it's one of those to where we can get mad at each other about it, or we can sit there and be flexible and say, next year, let's tweak it and let's do something different. So we were talking and we're like, okay, well, that didn't really work for some of our family. So let's move it to like a noon thing or a 12 or 1, and we'll do it over lunch. We'll have a lunch, and that way everybody can wake up in the morning and be slow, because we wake up really early and they wake up later. And so, it's just kind of one of those. Let's meet in the middle and make this. I was going to sing, but I didn't.
You're going to... When I wake up in the morning, I feel like
meet in the middle.
Oh. Okay, never mind. That's not where I was going.
But
you haven't busted out into song at all yet in this episode, so
it still might come. You just never know. You never know when this is going to happen.
I feel like that's a oldie but goodie that often comes out
that
in our
is true.
podcast.
So we're fixing to dive into a few things because there was one that was just like boom. It was really powerful that we unraveled just for us and our family. It was like, man, once you kind of see some of these things, it's like, man, okay, this year, let's start working on that. What can we do different to make next year or to make this year better or to make our relationship stronger? So yeah, y'all stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Blended families can be hard at times, can't they? Have you ever said, I don't feel like me and my spouse are connecting? Or I'm bending over backwards and my stepkid still pushes me away? Or do you feel like your family's doing okay, but you'd like it to be more than okay? You want your family to level up, take it to an even stronger level.
The truth is we're all looking for more joy and happiness in our lives. So how do we start seeing that in our blended family? Because really, our family is the first place we should truly be enjoying and having the most fun with. So how do you enjoy your blended family? You create more fun opportunities that your family loves doing. These are big things, they're small things, things that cost money, things that don't cost money. But the more fun you have together, the less blended family drama you'll have, which equals more joy and happiness for everyone. Now, you may be saying, yeah, but I don't know how to do that. I don't even know where to start. That's okay. We walk you through 5 fun dates you get to have with your family. These dates help you discover those fun things your family loves doing. You'll walk away with so many more great ideas and have an amazing, easy plan to make it happen and to keep it going. Plus, you get to have a lot of fun discovering all this in the process. We walk you through everything and make it really fun and easy.
So how do you enjoy your blended family? By going on these 5 dates and discovering fun in your stepfamily. You'll be so glad you did. Have more fun together and you'll see less problems. The link to get started on this amazing journey is in the show notes of this episode. All right, so here comes one of these big aha moments, right?
That we didn't say aha.
That we didn't say aha, but as we began to talk about, we're sitting there, we're opening up presents, everything's great, and there comes this moment in it where I personally was like, oh crap, because it felt as if like certain family members got better gifts than others from like extended family or whatever. And when I had this like realization in this moment, like it made me super anxious and awkward, like, oh no, like I got to fix this, I got to solve this or whatever. And I couldn't in that moment. And so I just kind of like backed down, but I was like still focusing and thinking on it after the fact. So I brought this up as we were sitting around chit-chatting about this moment that had taken place. And it really began to open up some conversation for us, because as I was expressing what had happened and just maybe how different family members, and then we hear this all the time in blended families, like that grandparents or extended family, they don't see your stepchild as family, and how that comes about and how long that takes for them to accept them in this. And Riley had said something to me of, well, is it because you used to talk crap about me to them? And I was like, no. And I just moved on. And I was like real quick, because she said it and it hit a nerve. And I was like, no, I didn't. And then we started kind of talking about some other stuff. And as we were just there continuing, you have those moments where like the room is still happening, but you're like in your head having your own conversation. And it just really like dawned on me, like that's false. And that defensiveness of me for when she said that had struck a nerve that I wasn't willing to deal with. So because, we do a lot of self-reflecting and self-work here in our family, we become very...
We do try.
We become...
It's not as easy as it sounds, right?
We become self-aware because we've hidden so much for so long. Like how we feel about things. We've kept it to ourselves because we don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings, or we don't want to stir things up. And we've talked about that on a lot of episodes. Like I was afraid to be honest about stuff because I didn't want you to not want to be with me anymore. So I would just like sweep it under the rug, act like that didn't happen. And so when she said that, I finally came back and I was like, you know what? You're right. I did.
Thank you.
I did. I wouldn't say I talked.
And this is on camera, so.
Honesty's the best policy, you know what I mean?
But I didn't talk crap in a way. Like, I wasn't going and talking to my family members like that Riley. She is such a spoiled
piece of work.
Spoiled little brat,
rascal.
this and that. Like, I would be so upset with situations that were happening, especially early on in our blended family, that I would go to my family and they would ask how things are going, and I would start crying. and I would start...
What? You would start crying? No way. She never
That was back
cries.
before I started shedding emotions off, but then I let the emotions come back out again. So I would talk to them and I would get emotional and I would tell them situations that were going on in my house behind closed doors. And they would begin, I'm assuming as we are talking now, like begin to form their own opinions on Riley because of the things that came out of my mouth. And so that's what really sparked some really good conversation about who we vent to and how the things that the the person that we're venting to, it's giving them this already, like, what's the right word for that? Like a opinion or a
an
view,
assumption.
a viewpoint, yeah.
And it's usually negative if we're venting to that person about them. So even though you love them, like I love Riley, I want Riley to be a part of my life. I want her to love and accept me. But because I use them as my venting session, now they have this opinion and they don't get to see all the good stuff as well, you know?
Yeah, because they've already kind of formed their thoughts.
Yeah, it kind of got brought to me when we were thinking about it, because there was a lot of things like that I would talk to my like family members about that would give Scarlett a hard time, because they had this predetermined like assumption of what I thought of her in that moment, being 12 to finally realizing full corner, because it seemed like to me like there were certain parts of our family that didn't necessarily fully accept me from the beginning. I always kind of felt like an outsider on like certain sides and things like that. So coming full circle and realizing like that's it, like because I vented to my family about this, now they have these predetermined like feelings, pictures of Scarlett, whereas it feels weird saying Scarlett. I call her Charlotte. That's like my way of saying like not Scarlett. I don't know how to.
It's her nickname for me, and I
yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, that's really cool, because and that's a sidebar. But we, coming into a blended family, you don't always know how to call your bonus parent or your bonus kids. What do you call them? You don't want to call them mom, or maybe some do. So and that's okay. But it's to come up with a name that y'all both love, and that term of endearment. And so yeah, you've nicknamed her Charlotte, and it's just
not like from the beginning. That was
kind of morphed into it.
Basically, after she moved back, like a few years ago. I mean, it's probably been like 5 years now. Man.
Well, it came about. Side story. We went bowling, and and when we were bowling, the person put all of our names horribly wrong. And hers, Scarlett's was Charlotte, Devin's was like Dijon. Mine was like, it was just totally weird. And actually, Dad, I think yours was the only one that was right or something. So ever since then, I just started calling her Charlotte, because it feels weird to call her Scarlett, because she's more than a stepmom to me. It kind of feels more like disrespectful, almost in a way, to call her Scarlett. Like I need another name for her, but mom is already kind of like taken by my bio mom, so
and you don't want to be disrespectful there, and so finding
especially if there's complications. So it's like everyone needs to be okay with everything.
I wanted to point out that it hasn't been forever, because we did a horrible job. We will admit we did a horrible job of coming like up together with who should call who what, and having just an open conversation about it from the beginning, and not like we tiptoed around so much that like grandparents don't have grandparent names, like from each side of the family. Like, yes, Riley may call her like Randall's side with certain things, and my kids call their sides, but calling the step sides, like, it's just,
I think that all stemmed because I was a brat when they first got together.
I'm going to call you out.
And I was such a brat because I was so spoiled by my dad. It had only been me and my dad. I know. What a shocker.
I spoiled you?
What a shocker.
So it's my fault?
There you go.
All the blame was on you.
Dang.
But yeah, I was so spoiled and kind of had this like, oh, well, these are my people. Like, I can't open my heart for other people because like Riley and Devin, they were trying to call like my grandma, like granny and things like that. And I was just like, no, you can't do that. That's so wrong. Which now I look back and I'm like, dang, I wish I wasn't such a B word because I mean, we could have had a whole different experience.
But you were also a child.
Yeah,
and that's where it
didn't.
would have been our job to really maybe facilitate some of
Yeah.
the deeper conversation. Not, I mean, on an 8 or 12-year-old level, whatever.
Yeah, because I don't think I didn't fully understand why I felt the way I did either. But coming full circle, it was like I was also jealous of like my stepbrother and stepsister's relationship because they had their mom and I didn't all the time. My mom lived super far away. And so my way of kind of like being spiteful or like, you know, trying to hold what I have as my own or what I knew was mine was just coming across like, oh, well, you can't have that because these are the only people that I have, you know, kind of thing. And, you know, kind of almost suffering like, not abandonment, but kind of, because I was jealous of their relationship, and so it kind of made me a little bit snobby.
But you know, that was the crazy thing is, and you didn't realize that was going on.
No.
You know, it was just kind of one of those, I think years later is when you said, I was jealous of their relationship. You know, I think as a 8, 9-year-old, you don't understand that that's what's happening. You're just mad.
You just have all this anger.
Yeah, and you don't know why or where it comes from. And, you know, I think that's us learning as parents, looking back then saying, man, you know, we should have talked more about this. We should have kind of opened up conversations and help guide y'all in your emotions, because we didn't realize y'all were going through that either. And the whole with the name things, we didn't talk about any of that. And you were jealous on some of that whenever they were trying to call, you know, grandparents the same name you were calling them, and you would get, they're not your they're my you know, it's kind of one of those to where us as parents we could have done a better job there at sitting everyone down saying, you know what, let's come up with, you know, some names. You know, we know it all looks a little different, so let's figure this out together, and, you know, really facilitate that. And that, you know, we did not do a great job.
Yeah, and here we are 15, 16 years later, still struggling with some of those relationships when it comes to grandparents, because there were those walls put up, and that we didn't spend more time. And that was another conversation that we got into, that we have not really fostered those relationships, for one, as a family. Like, we let a lot of outside things take priority over our blended family spending quality time. Just the 5 of us as we had started out, right?
Yeah.
And so we let extracurricular, sports, church, school, careers all take over these moments. Like Riley's saying, it was a game of bowling. How many years, maybe 12, 13 years into our blended family, that this name stuck. And when she calls me that and I see that, like, I sign things to her as Charlotte, like, that is our term of endearment to each other. And it was that fun moment of us coming together that created that. But we did so many things divided. You were her coach for soccer. I had the kids at the school I taught at. We went to 2 churches for, guys, 6 years. We went to 2 different churches and tried, like, bouncing. So there were so many things. That was just our core, our household, versus even establishing these relationships when it came to our extended family as well, and really going and doing things with them as a whole, and even like one-on-one, having my mother-in-law over so that she could connect with all 3 of the kids on that level. Yeah. So making sure you take time and create these moments, which is what we talk about here all the time at Enjoying Your Blended Family, is helping give those ideas. Like, how can you create these moments? Yes, it seems silly that we're talking about a whole podcast on going bowling, but those moments together are what's doing it. Those family dinners, having game nights, inviting your mother-in-law or the aunt and uncle over. Those are the moments where you're laughing, you're joking, you're having a good time, and then those are creating these bonds with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, there is so much to this, and we're, this is episodes that we're going to continue on for the next few episodes anyway, because there's so much depth to this. But really, we're going to kind of wrap this one up just saying, who are you venting to? Who really are you? You know, if you have any takeaway, it takes time to establish relationships. And when we want to come together as a family and our extended family, our aunts, uncles, grandparents, things like that are coming together, and we're still having those divisions, maybe some of it stemming from what we're saying. They don't get to see all the good things that we get to inside of our family dynamics. A lot of times they just hear all the negative stuff that we're venting and saying, I wish this, or I wish it looked like this, but it's not, or dang, they're doing this or they're doing that. And that's all they're seeing. It's kind of like, whenever your kids get older and they start having significant others, boyfriends, girlfriends, they bring them over and then all they're doing is bashing them, when they're not here, like, I can't believe they did this or that. And then us as parents are forming that visual of them saying, well, they're no good for you. And so every time they come over, it's like, and
then the ratio of good comment, and this is just like scientifically and all, when I was teaching, this was like a huge thing that we talked about. The ratio of negative comments to positive comments makes a huge difference. And it takes, I don't know the exact ratio anymore, but it's like 5 positive things need to be said to make up for the one negative thing. And
that is so crazy. It's because the negative thing holds so much weight.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly speaking all of these negative thoughts about a certain person in your life, your family's also going to bounce back with that same opinion times 10 almost, because they love you. Because they love you and they're always going to be on your side. But I mean, which is good, but it also creates a toxic mindset from their perspective, because they don't get to see your everyday. Like, they don't get to see the good moments. They are basing their opinion off of what you're coming to them with. Yeah. So if you I think the key to venting, and especially in a blended family, is making sure that you're venting to a third party, not necessarily your family, your extended family, but just like making sure that it's like a friend or even a counselor, a therapist, or somebody like that who's not in your everyday, who can't, kind of make or break your opinion as well. Because if you think about it, you're telling them these toxic thoughts and they're feeding off of it. Like, you're feeding off of what their negative emotions are forming as well. So it's just creating a lot of toxicity, a lot of resentment almost towards the person that you're venting to, because not only do you have an issue with them, but your whole entire family is also having an issue as well. And it's just no good. People are getting shut out. People are getting left out and things like that, when it's really not that big of a deal. It's just like, you had a rough moment. You need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Everybody needs someone to talk to, right?
Yeah.
Just
I did ask Riley. I said, well, because I would vent as well to like some of my really close friends, and I said, did you ever feel any like static or negativity from them? And she's like, no, like they've always made me. So I don't know what the difference is, but like my friends always, I guess it's just family just takes things so personal,
so serious.
There's so much of this. And so we're gonna continue. We're gonna go ahead and end this episode now, but hopefully just such takeaways just from realizing who are we venting to. So maybe that's something, I know for us, we're saying, okay, this next year, what can I do differently? Who am I venting to? Is that causing more harm in our family and our relationships?
Yeah.
And really just kind of taking that personally first, kind of like you get asked that question, you're like, no, I don't do that.
I didn't do that.
No, how can you ask me
ever?
that question?
Oh, that's you being me. Okay, I got you.
That was.
But, that was very exaggerated. But we get so defensive. But if we can honestly put our defense aside, ask ourselves that honest question,
be honest with ourselves,
and really think about that. So maybe you're taking some time, after hearing this, saying, let me think about that. Am I really venting? Who am I venting to, and what am I really saying? Could that cause some problems in our relationships? In our next episode, we're going to dive even deeper in ways, how can we overcome this? I mean, you already gave a lot right there, Riley. So we want to continue that. And what are some things maybe we can do this next year to make it better, to not let this be a trap that our family falls into. That way our whole extended family starts forming this beautiful relationship. So what can we do? So, man, good stuff. Good stuff.
All right.
Man, love this. So this is the new year. New year, new you. New B-fam. Is that what it is? New B-fam?
I don't know. I thought we agreed we were not going to use that
We weren't.
phrase.
So, we're not using that one. I just threw that out there to see if
It's
anyone
hard not to.
to see if anyone stuck and anyone was like, "Yeah, Randall, that is awesome. Y'all should totally do that." So,
I've never heard that before.
Maybe
New year,
I don't
new,
know.
don't vent to your
don't know.
family.
Yeah, whatever. We're going to have some fun diving more because there was some great stuff. So we're going to keep this going. Listen, we love you guys and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Later.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
And when you join, we also want to give you a free gift. So go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day. Remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.